Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to talk to you about a revolution. Most revolutions are revolutions which are coming from the folks, bottom-up revolutions. But the revolution I'm going to talk about is another one. It's a top-down revolution. It's made by the elite. It comes from the best chefs all over the world. And I can see in your faces revolution that makes fear, but I tell you, you don't have to fear this revolution, since this revolution is going to be the most joyful one you ever had in your life. It even tastes good. You can relish it. That's good, isn't it? I tell you, yeah, trust me, I tell you, I'm a chef, I know about it. And this revolution is about the following topic. I have to make this statement. We, the top chefs all over the world, we are going to save the planet by teaching you how to cook sustainable, properly, and well. That's a statement. And you will learn it, because I learned it too. As she said, I'm a cabaret player, I'm a musician, and I learned enough about it without running through an education of a chef. And I learned enough to become chef of a one-star Michelin kitchen. So if I learn it, you will learn it too, I swear it. You all can learn it. You look at me like you want to say, this guy is crazy. What he's talking about? Well, she is right, I am crazy. But in this case, believe me, in about 7 minutes, you all will agree on this thesis. So let's start with theory. There we go. This is a theory from a very famous one, Mr. Rockström. He's a professor from Stockholm University. And this is about the planetary boundaries, which says how much is the planet able to compensate ecologically. Here we go. Let's have a look. We have an inner circle, the blue one. Everything that's inside the blue one means the economy runs well because we have enough resources, stuff like that, circle stuff. That's fine. That's fine. We just can go on like that. Then we have between the blue one and the red one, we have a zone of uncertainty. Experts, some say it works out, some say it doesn't work out, so we have a huge problem, maybe. And then we have this red line, and that's definitely the line where you can say, this won't work anymore. We have to change that. Now, if you have a closer look, then we have, of course, we have climate change, very famous topic. We're doing a lot about it, thank God. Or let's say, thank Greta Thunberg. And of course, here we have some other things like, here, biochemical flows like nitrogen cycles, phosphorus input. Very important, keep that in mind. This is due mostly to about food production. The same as like land system change seems to be more and more a problem. It's mostly due to food production. And here, we have something very important, biosphere integrity. It's like genetic diversity. It's about the loss of species. And one of the main points about this, due to food production. That's what it's about. That has to do with food. We can't stop eating. We have to go on eating. And when it comes to biointegrity and about loss of species, I always compare this with the Jenga tower. You know the Jenga tower, right? This one here. You all play with it, or you play with the children with this. It stays stable, even though you put away some of the wooden blocks in there. You just put some blocks off, and it stays stable since it just, the static structure just changes. But after a while, when you go to a certain point, it's enough to remove just one more of those wooden blocks, and it falls apart. And that's the same with ecosystems. Sometimes the ecosystem can compensate for a while, but then it might be just one more species you lose, and it's enough to make a whole ecosystem just collapse. And that's the basic problem that we have. So when it comes to food and food production, agriculture, we can't stop eating. We have to go on eating, otherwise we die. So what can we do? We all know about the problems that we have when it comes to agriculture. We have the problems of mega business that run. We have the loss of biotopes. We have destruction of landscapes. We have monocultural effects. We have factory farming with its huge amounts of slurry, especially in Westphalia. We know all about that. Eutrophication and nitrogen cycle destruction, and it's all about money. And since it's all about money, that means there's a lot of fatal lobbyism in politics, and that means politics won't change it. And since politics won't change it, and it has to be changed right now, because it's a huge problem, a threat, the biggest threat to all of us. What do we need? We need a revolution. Now let's get the revolution started. Let's get this revolution started. My revolution starts right here in Muenster, where I run a little restaurant, the Neue Westfäliche Stube. It's a beautiful little restaurant with people meet there. They are not at tables apart. We have one long table. They start to communicate. They discuss. It's beautiful, I tell you. So what we do, we work together with the University of Applied Science, with the ecotrophologists, where I also give lectures about science and food and sustainability. And in this university, we have the Food Lab Muenster. Maybe some of you have heard about that. The Food Lab Muenster is kind of a think tank about sustainability, about food, how we produce it, about taste and stuff like that. And we all have this under the umbrella of the ISUN. The ISUN, that's the Institute for Sustainable Nutrition. The ISUN has, for instance, invented the ISUN calculator. And all the dishes that we serve in my restaurant, we always let run through this calculator to check out that these things are really sustainable. This is very important to me. All these dishes should be sustainable. That all, the Food Lab as my home base, this university, this scientific approach, all of that leads to certain standards in my kitchen. Almost no food waste. Almost no food waste. We try to reuse everything. We try to make jus from it. Whatever. Almost no meat. No, I am not a vegetarian. Sorry. But we use like at highly 60 grams of meat during a 10-course meal. Well, that's okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think. And then we strictly follow to organic food. Like when we buy stuff, it's always organic from close by. And most of the stuff is even from my own garden that we serve. It's a garden where I work in a permacultural system. Also, we use, and that may be the most important thing, we use science. We use science and we use it to make it more tasteful and also sustainable. So that is the point. Now, as the last thing that I want to tell you about this revolution, we all know that the raised up index finger does not help at all. We all know that. This one doesn't work. So how can I convince people to become member in the army of this revolution? I have to convince them by taste. Turn a red beet, there we are, into a great treat. Make a simple potato start to become a feast and an explosion of a bomb of joy and pleasure on your tongue. Because if you reach that, you can convince people. And maybe then you all start to understand. If you learn how to cook well, you understand what it's about. And maybe then you drag on the sparkle to the other ones, your family, your friends, and they understand sustainable food is not about suffering, deprivation, or less life quality. In the opposite, that's what it's all about. And it's about changing society. So, how did I do it? I learned how to cook well. You think, well, how did he do it? I want to do it too. It's very easy. First thing, make food a major topic in your life. And trust in me, it makes your life more beautiful. The second thing is, just learn from the best of the best. Learn from us. Benefit from our knowledge. If you learn how to cook well, I tell you, you will improve your health because you know what's inside your food. You will save money because you can use cheaper stuff because you know how to treat it to make a great meal from it. 3, you become a happier and more social being. That's about food. It's life quality. Sit together, talk, have a nice evening. Sapere autem sensibus. That's the old motto of enlightenment. That means this, in this case, about food. Understand what your senses tell you, and you learn by this way how to understand the quality and judge the quality of food. And that leads you away from processed food and junk food anyway. For you will be a change maker. And isn't that the most beautiful thing that all of you can reach? You will be change makers And that means you have a better life, joyful, you are more healthy, and en passant, you save the planet. Ladies and gentlemen, start right now to learn how to cook. Benefit from our knowledge. Thank you very much for your attention.